$1 TV and radio show on the Wake Up Call Network. And I am David Frankel, your host, and today my guest is Jeff Gaura, and he is the founder and CEO of the network team. Welcome.
Thank
Jeff.
you.
I appreciate you coming. My pleasure. And he's more than that, too. I just figured that was a nice, simple introduction. So we'll start off, Jeff. Tell us a little about the network team, and then also we'll kind of segue into some of the projects you're working on as well.
So there's not a place in this world where technology doesn't show up nowadays, right?
Sure.
In the kitchen, in the bedroom, on the driveway, in the parking lot. And I like IT. It's something that is part of everybody's life every day, whether they like it or not. And having a vision for how things can be and helping people get there makes the transition into doing IT and getting a paycheck out of it very easy for me.
Okay. So tell me, how does the network team work? What do you do exactly for businesses or residential? I assume businesses.
We do, B2B. So our specialty is finding companies who either don't have an IT department, but would like the structure thereof, or they have an IT department and the IT department just needs some help.
Okay.
We do big projects, Mecklenburg County, public libraries, huge companies with 1,000 employees, all the way down to small businesses with 10 or 15 people.
And what's the most common problem that people have in their offices besides?
Today, I would say it's the disconnect between the need to make sure your data is protected and what you're currently doing.
Okay.
Because most often, people really have a problem with IT when it stops working.
Of course.
And when we tell them how to fix it, we're too late. Because it was stuff they could have done yesterday to prevent today's event from happening.
So is there software they can install as far as malware software to prevent a lot of the problems they're going to have with
I kind of
slowing
feel
the
like
computers
it's like
down and
when people ask that question, I like to tell them, what's it take to win the Indy 500? You need a driver, you need cars, you need fuel, you need money, you need sponsors. And being secure is the same way. You need to train your employees because they're your biggest risk.
Sure.
You need tools in your office that protect you when you're in the office. You need tools on your devices that protect them when they're out of the office. And you got to have a plan in the event that somebody gets in and gets a hold of your data and deletes it all. I just watched a video about how a hacker broke into a company and he wiped out some information on the laptops and they scanned and they thought they removed it all. Little did they know that his software got into their thermostat. And he was using the thermostat on the wall to pull all the company data out, and then from there he did a wipe replace. So he deleted everything on every device in the network, and then he deleted his information on the thermostat and left. Who would have guessed?
Interesting. So how do you prevent those type of things from happening?
Well, systemically, you have to have some people who understand that they need to be smart, and you don't get trained once. You got to get trained often and frequently. You have to put in tools on the outside of your network to keep it safe. You have to put on tools on the inside of the network to see what everybody's behavior is. You need to look at the reports and not delete them when they show up in your email to see the pattern.
Sure.
And you got to understand the fact that there's nothing you can buy for this. It's an ongoing monthly service. It's kind of like DirecTV. You can't buy it. You have to subscribe to it.
Sure.
And cybersecurity is the same way. You have to subscribe to it. Anytime somebody tells me they bought something for cybersecurity, they didn't buy anything.
Right. They just bought some software they think
they got a Band-Aid. They didn't cause a wound to heal.
So help the viewers and listeners that have their own business that realize they need to have, or maybe they're starting to do business, and they realize that the network of their computers needs to be secure. What kind of budget should they set aside? Let's say it's a small business. We'll start with maybe 5 or 10 employees. They all have access to the same network, just to make sure it's secure. Because I think that's the biggest problem is you start a business, you think about everything except for the network. Think about the technology, you think about the signage, you think about the real estate, but you don't necessarily put a whole lot of thought into what it's going to take to keep my server secure. So what do you think they need to set aside budget-wise so they're not surprised once they have someone like yourself out and get that price tag for?
It's a challenge to come up with a number, but I can give you some ranges.
Okay, that'd be great.
So when you first get set up, I think a fair number to use is a few $100s per employee to get things set up.
Okay.
So the more employees you have, the more it's going to cost you in the form of licensing fees and what have you. And then you need to budget anywhere from as little as $20 a month up to as much as $100 a month per employee to keep everything secure and make sure that they have the access that they need.
Okay, and someone from the network team, would you come to the office once a month? How often? What's the frequency of your visit to ensure everything's running smoothly?
Once we are on board and our technology is running in your office, we're continually getting alerted in real time.
Remotely, I assume. Okay.
We have the ability to come on site as soon as we need to, but we can remotely connect anytime we'd like to actually diagnose what's going on and do some proactive things to prevent things from happening.
Excellent. So how often do you think you have to go visit a client, being that you have such great remote access?
So
as little as possible.
No matter
I assume.
what, because I mean, we have several churches who are our customers because they have strong security needs as well.
Sure.
With everybody having Wi-Fi during the service and what have you. Some places we go as often as once a week. Some places we go as infrequently as once a month. But you know who we are. You'll see our shirts and our low-quality haircuts and what have you.
Is that a requirement, or is this
It should be.
It should be. Excellent. That's important to understand, so
Right.
they can recognize you. So, is there any words to the wise? People that are watching, either business owners, or they go into a Panera Bread, or they go into a Starbucks and they use Wi-Fi. Is there anything they should be aware of as far as protection of their own
Let me tell you
computers?
a real-life story that happened this last Monday. We have a customer who's into manufacturing, and one of their traveling salespeople went to a free Wi-Fi network in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
He jumped on the Wi-Fi network. He went through the page that says, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions. Oh, by the way, those terms and conditions meant that once he was on that network, he could be seen by others who are on that network. It's the equivalent of you walked into a stadium, you can't carry around bulletproof glass, you're available to whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody hacked into his cell phone. From his cell phone, they determined what his email password was. From his email password, they logged into his cloud-based email, and they found his customers. And they sent a link to each of his customers, which included Nike.com, Hanes.com, etc., and said, I have a document I need you to review, please click on it. When they clicked on it, it launched a ransomware attack on their computer, which was going to cause them to have everything they own encrypted. Needless to say, that took a matter of minutes. We were able to track it for him and show that it was sourced from a coder running a Macintosh computer using Firefox from the country of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So he had agents in Denver, Colorado, pulling information, shipping it to Nigeria, and the attack happened in Nigeria, and it went all over North Carolina. From start to finish, that was a matter of minutes.
Wow.
So simplistically, what do you say to that? Obviously, you need to protect your cell phone too. So most people think that my cell phone doesn't have anything on it, or it's a commodity, I can just reboot it. Certainly, there's nothing to worry about there. But the cell phone is the easiest way to get people's information.
Makes sense. And so, how do you protect it? What's your advice to
So we
people out
recommend.
there that use Wi-Fi in public places? Should you not use Wi-Fi in public places? Is that the best way to go?
No, it's all fine and dandy, but you have to put in the protections necessary. It's the adage: if you're going into battle, you probably ought to wear armor.
Right.
So most people perceive that Verizon, AT&T, Samsung, Apple are giving them adequate protections on their device, and it's just not true. It's never been true, really, but people are now learning how to exploit it.
Yeah, because I always heard you can't get viruses in your cell phone,
Sure.
but obviously that's not the
No,
case.
and she can't get pregnant on the first time. I've heard that as well.
Unless we have a young one in the
That's
audience
correct.
today. We need to keep it
Right,
clean
edit
today.
that.
PG. This is PG strictly.
Right.
So how do you protect your cell phone? I mean, I think that's something that no one discusses. I've never heard anyone
Correct.
say, download this, go to here, go there, buy this software at Best
So
Buy.
the buzzword that used to be commonplace was BYOD, bring your own device. Many people would show up in the office with their iPad, cell phone, and just start working on company stuff. Or they would have company email on their cell phone, and they'd go home and they're opening a spreadsheet that's company information on their cell phone, not realizing that now you've mingled the personal and the professional.
Mhm.
And often, in many cases, the IT people neither know how to do this or prevent it from happening. So we recommend mobile device management. Simple technology that makes it so that once the device leaves the office, it no longer has access to anything that's office related. You can put it on an iPad, a tablet PC, a cell phone of any vendor. It doesn't discriminate on the hardware, but that gives the network administrator the ability to lock down and everything he'd like to. So if somebody says, I lost my phone, he hits one button and it wipes the phone contents out, so there's no more information on it. Somebody loses their tablet, same thing.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And how will they get that type of software?
It's a subscription.
Is there a website they can go to learn more?
They just type in MDM in their web browser for mobile device management. They can
Okay.
find YouTube videos galore from a multiplicity of vendors.
Oh, excellent. That's great information. Now, what about your business, the network team? How could someone get a hold of you if they want to pursue hiring you to set up the network for their
It's too
company?
expensive to have a professional who really is up to date with security for most small businesses. And there's too many different technologies. There's backup technologies. There's cloud-based technologies. Like I said, mobile device management. We recommend buying a package from us that'll include various levels across all the technologies. We mandate, if you work with us, that you let us train your employees. We make sure you have online training because we know that the single greatest loophole in the security is the employee.
Right.
So we mandate that ends level in all of our packages. You need a managed firewall. You need managed antivirus, mobile device management, two-factor authentication. I can go on and on with buzzwords, but
Well, that's right.
you need a service that guarantees you'll be up to date at all times.
And how do they get a hold of you? Is there a website they can reach out to you or an office phone number?
They can go to the networkteam.co
thenetworkteam.co. Okay.
No .m at the end. Or if that's overwhelming, you can use the networkteam.net.
Networkteam.net. So you have two options.
Correct.
And is there an office phone number they can give out, or just use the website?
They can call us at 980-263-2850.
Okay, excellent. So now we'll move on to the other topics, because you're a man of many
Like
ventures.
yourself.
I try to be, but not nearly at your level, so I'm learning from you and taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit of the other projects you have going on, the schools, as well as what else is going on?
Yeah. So I probably spend, once every 2 or 3 years, I travel to the Himalaya, and I've been doing that since 1987. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Nepal in 1987, and I got involved with some projects in a local community there, and I still work with that community. We build schools. We raise money by selling blankets made from yaks.
Wow.
And we take the proceeds from those blanket sales and use them to buy land and buy building materials and build schools for the children there. We bring some of our teachers from Nepal to the United States for training. We had one teacher come and studied at a master's level at Liberty University, learning more about education. Now he's back there, and we're opening up a brand new Montessori school.
Wow.
In a place where there's no real running water and electricity, now they're going to have Montessori education. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, I guess education needs to come whether they have running water and shelter.
I think so. You can learn more about that at the nepalproject.org, and you can find it Nepal Project on Facebook as well.
Excellent. And they can donate there as well, or buy blankets.
They sure can. They can donate as well.
Okay.
This last October, I ran the Annapurna 100 Ultramarathon to raise money for schools.
Very good.
And that brought in a lot of attention, and it was a whole lot of fun to wear running shoes and go up and down in the highest mountains in the world.
Definitely.
Some moments I was walking, let's be honest, but we were running more than we were walking.
Well, very good. And there's another aspect of your life, which is
yeah, I'm
Olympian.
addicted to athletes. Yeah, I'm a member of Team USA for the sport of duathlon. And although duathlon, like most sports, is not an Olympic sport, right? Football's not an Olympic sport.
Right.
Most sports are not Olympic sports. I train for and compete in local, and if I do well on that, national, and if I do well on that, world level competitions. I've been fortunate enough to participate in 4 world championships.
Congratulations.
In a couple of different countries. And rumor has it that if I do well in a world championship, they'll invite me to the intergalactic championships.
Wow.
And I can compete against the world champion from Jupiter. And I can go against that little girl from Mars who's green. Really fast, they say. But first I've got to be the champion of the Earth.
Yeah, intergalactic would be a whole nother level.
I know, right?
Sure. I didn't know how you train that type of thing.
And if you do well on that, you get the extra stellar competitions.
Yeah.
Which is all the way at Alpha Centauri.
Wow. That's a whole nother level that I would even dream of
I know, right?
training for. So how do you? So help us walk us through with the duathlon. How does that? Where does that work with us? What sports?
So
what activities?
there's endurance racing is the idea of going a long distance at a time. That's how
Okay.
humanity is.
Kind of like cross country.
The marathon distance is a typical endurance distance people know of. But when you change sports in the middle of the thing, it's called multi-sport endurance racing, or just multi-sport. And there's 4 or 5 combinations. The most common, most famous one is the triathlon,
Okay.
where you do swim, bike, run. There's aquathon, where you're only running and swimming. There's aqua bike, where you're only swimming and biking. And I do duathlon, where you're only running and biking. We still do 3 events, but I'm running twice. So for me, I'm doing run, bike, run.
Okay.
So I start with a pair of running shoes on, and I do a big loop, and I go into this pen where there's bicycles, and I grab my bike and my helmet, and I run out of there as fast as I can, take off on my bike, come back to that same spot, either an hour or a few hours later, put the bike down, put my running shoes on, and run out there again.
And your legs aren't just totally jello by that point?
Of course they are.
Like, I can't feel my legs. Am I running fast? Is there anything around me? I can't imagine. I mean, just the running part itself would wear me out. The swimming part alone would wear me out.
Well, you have to train for
Of
it. You
course.
can't just suit
Sure,
up
of
and
course.
show up. And
Sure.
that involves strength training, a very serious focus on nutrition. I got to get a good night's sleep, hydrating.
Sure.
Oh, that's a big part of it. And as a business owner, I get the freedom to do that.
And what's the length of these?
So they have a sprint distance event, which is what my son's specialty is, and that's a 5K run,
Okay.
20K bike,
Wow.
and then a 2.5K run. So from beginning to end, my son is done in an hour. That's considered fast.
Yeah, that's real fast.
And then I do long course, which is a 10K run, 150K bike, and then a 30K run.
Wow.
And that takes me about 8 hours and change to
Wow.
finish.
So a day's work.
Something like that.
And after that that 8-hour day, do you just sleep for 2 or 3 days, or you're
I
back
do
up
not.
running
In
your
fact,
business
this
next
last
day?
time I did it, I went to the hotel, which is a half-mile walk away, and I jumped in an Epsom salt bath.
I bet.
And I laid there for about 30 minutes until my roommate came in and said, they're having the awards ceremony, get out of the tub, we gotta go. So I got dressed and went back to the awards ceremony and ate dinner with everybody and clapped. I didn't move very much, though, to be honest with you.
I can imagine. And what do you run on a regular basis just to get ready for something like that?
So when I'm training for the ultra distance, I'll probably run somewhere between 30 and 40 miles a week, and I'll cycle 250 miles a week.
Is that 5 miles a day, or what do you tend to break up?
So some days I'll go 20 for the
I see,
effect of
okay.
it.
Depends on the
Sometimes
time
I'll
you
only
have
go 2.5, 3 miles based
Okay.
on it. But you have to do variety.
So is it based on the amount of time you have to work with, or is it just based on you want to change it up so your body gets used to different?
The latter.
Okay.
The latter.
It's more about
variety.
more teaching your body and training your body. More
It
than it
is.
about the time you
Muscles, when you give muscles the same stimulus again and again, they develop a resistance to it.
have. Oh, I see. Makes sense.
It's insulin resistance. Any athlete knows the coaches make them do shuttle runs or whatever they want to call it. But in the game, that's never happening.
Right.
They're never going to go 30 feet, stop, pick something up, go back 30 feet, set it down, and then run back. But it's that variety that will strengthen their whole system.
I think it's a test of will too. There's they call it a suicide.
Yeah, suicide's
Is that
it's a form of mental illness, is what my wife calls it.
if you're strong to handle all that for sure. Well, it's been great having you. Is there anything we should add to the show that we didn't touch on between all the different things you're doing?
So
There's the
I'm
entrepreneur side as well, which is obviously the network team. Is there anything
That's
else you're doing entrepreneur-wise that we should touch on before
So
we wrap up?
I blog quite a bit, and if you hit my webpage, jeffgaura.com, there'll be some links to some of the blogs I have and how you can bring me on as a speaker, motivational speaker. I'll talk to sales teams about overcoming commonality and becoming excellent.
Excellent.
Exactly.
important.
That's the whole point.
And that's hard to train salespeople. I think everyone has their own. Everyone's motivated differently. And I think the hardest thing, at least from my experience, has been how do you motivate each person to give it everything they have? And everyone's motivated differently. So you got to find a way to get to know all your staff to the best of your ability.
So everybody's
Find motivation.
mediocre at most things. Everybody is mediocre at most things. But all of us have something where we can truly excel at. And when you hear the stories of people who've been mediocre at everything, or mediocre at most things, and how they came out of it, a lot of people get an insight that they would not otherwise get.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to tell them how I was such an average guy, a normal, overweight man running a business, and I became an athlete, and how that trickled through into success across the board, and how I learned how to treat my body as the temple as I'm commanded to treat it.
Sure. Well, the discipline you have to be an athlete, I think, obviously triples into anything else that you're doing, which is fantastic. Well, excellent. Well, I appreciate you being on the
You're
show.
welcome. Enjoyed being here.
Should we plug your websites one more time to make sure everybody
Is networkteam.co, and you can click on Manage Security to learn more about how we can come in and help you with your innate, inherent security flaws associated with being online in the 21st century. Thoughts and Training to read some more stories about what it's like to be a mediocre man trying to become an exceptional athlete. And the Nepal Project to learn about how you can help with schools in the Himalaya.
Excellent. Hope you guys got that. Excellent. When we come back from the break, we'll have a magician on for the first time on the Wake Up Call Network. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back. Take a couple minutes to talk about my business and some of the things that I'm doing. Give you a reason to tune in each week. So I'm an inventor. Everyone's like to say they've met an inventor. It's nothing special. I just decided to solve a problem and create a solution instead of complaining about the problem. So I created a product called the Perky Collar. It is a collar support system for dress shirts. The packaging is right here. And what the product does, it lifts the collar up. So if I'm not wearing a tie, I can maintain a high collar professional look. So what it looks like is this. It has a nice magnetic lid for the box, so you can store accessories in here. And this is what the tool looks like. Nothing fancy, but it does a great job of lifting the collar up so it doesn't droop and sag. Let me show you how it works. So this is how you want your shirt to look if you're not wearing a tie. But you can see as soon as I remove the collar support, how quickly the placket starts to fold, the collar starts to tuck under. It just looks sloppy. And if I went to any downtown of any city across the country, 90% of the men are walking out like this unless they have ties on. and the tie is almost dead. So because it's dead, I decided to come up with a product that can help people not wear a tie, but not look sloppy at the same time. So here's how it works. Lift the collar up. You want to leave your collar stays in, because collar stays prevent collars from curling. That's a different problem. Take the Perky collar, drop it down, and then put the collar down on top of it. And that's it. And now you're back to a nice high collar professional look. Sometimes you adjust this a little bit to make sure it's even. And there goes the folded placket. There goes the tucking under my blazer. And it's back to a nice, clean, crisp look. Now, where can you find the Perky collar? I'm sure that's the question you're about to ask. Let me answer that question for you. It's PerkyLLC.com, spelled PerkyLLC.com. So this product's been on the market for about 2.5 years. We've now sold 10,020 as of today. And looking forward to our next 10,000 sold. To complement the Perky collar, I've also reached out to other inventors all across the country to complement the Perky collar. And I met a gentleman out of St. Louis, Missouri named Cedric Cobb, and he invented what's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. So he sells a Perky collar on his websites and shows. I sell his pocket square holder on my website. And that way people looking for innovation can find innovation on his website along with innovation on my website. So his product looks like this. It's called the Best Pocket Square Holder. And here's what it does. It solves the problem of the droopy, saggy pocket squares. So pocket squares, when you fold them, they always unfold and always fall down in your jacket pocket. So this device looks like this. You simply squeeze the device, drop the folded pocket square or pocket round in the device. It locks it in place. And then because the height of the pocket square holder, it just drops right into the pocket, keeping it perfectly looking great and not having to mess with it over and over again throughout the day. And that's the pocket square holder. Both items sell for $25 on the website. Again, you're talking $50 total for both items, but they make a world of difference. If you haven't bought holiday gifts yet for the men in your life that just are hard to buy for, these are two great innovative products that I'm sure they would truly enjoy. I'm not finished yet. We also have what's called button-up collar stays. Now, collar stays are around since the 1950s. I'm tired of talking about collar stays. Well, these collar stays are different. This is a gentleman out of Wichita, Kansas. His name is Mike Fisher, and he invented a collar stay, but it has an added function of a hook on the end. And that's to help you fasten buttons on your sleeve, as well as help you fasten maybe the top button of your shirt. And especially for older people that have dexterity issues, arthritis, carpal tunnel, this can be a real challenge, a real difficulty each and every day. And if your wife's not there to help you or your child's not there to help you, you want to be able to dress yourself each and every day. So this becomes a great tool. And then for younger guys out there, you just use it as a collar stay. If you're an older gentleman, use it to button your sleeve buttons and then use it as a collar stay. So this little pack here has stainless steel collar stays. You have 3 different sizes because obviously every collar is different lengths. And it's metal, so you don't have to worry about it causing your collars to curl. It's a great complement to the Perky collar because the Perky collar does not prevent collars from curling. You need to wear collar stays. So why not wear button-up collar stays that can also help you fasten your buttons at the same time? So that's the button-up collar stays. These are $20, also available on PerkyLLC.com. Next up is holeless belts. And I'm sure you're all thinking, oh, I've seen the Mission Belt on Shark Tank. I've seen that. Well, this is different. This is 100% cowhide. That's one of the biggest differences. It's the same type of leather they use on the saddles of horses. So it's much thicker, stronger leather. There's no ratchet system here, unlike the Comfort Click belt that's all over TV right now. Instead, the technology is in the buckle. So all you're going to simply do is you're going to put the belt through and locks in place. Now, it's holiday time. We're all gaining weight, let's be honest. Okay, so what we do, instead of having to go up an inch or down an entire inch based on our weight fluctuation, we just simply tilt the buckle a little bit, bring it in a little bit. If I lost a little weight, and it locks back in place. If I just had a big holiday meal, I loosen it a teensy bit, back in place. Again, I don't have to go up or down an entire inch. These are beautiful. They come in brown, which is what I have here. They come in cognac, which is what I have displayed here. And they also come in black. They are a limited supply. They are very hard to get a hold of for whatever reason. But I do have about a dozen left to service the community. And I can guarantee you, whoever you give this belt to will never wear a whole belt again because it's a frustration to have to poke around holes, to stretch the holes out because you gain a little weight, lose a little weight. The belt never fits right. We don't gain weight by 1 inch increments. So why we have a belt that only goes up or down by an inch? So those are all the innovative products that we have on the website. And in closing, we also have some fashion items on our website because we realize that people that are buying innovative products also like to look good with different pocket squares, different pocket rounds. Well, my wife makes all of our pocket squares and pocket rounds. They're also all available on our website, PerkyLLC.com. And here's an example of one of her pocket rounds. Those of you who've never seen a pocket round before, same as a pocket square, just circular. But you notice it's two-sided. No one else does that. You notice the stitch work is two different colors. We got light blue on one side and kind of a royal blue on the other. But again, when folded, it really becomes a work of art. So just to kind of give you a quick example of how beautiful a pocket round is, this is an example. And then when you use the pocket square holder, it prevents the pocket square from unfolding, or pocket round, again in this case, from unfolding. So when you put it in the pocket, it stays perfect all day long. So again, pocket squares, pocket rounds, all handmade, all limited edition on the website. We've also added some pre-tied and self-tied bow ties. They're all limited edition, all very unique. We also have some little bow tie lapel buttons. These actually are buttons that go in the lapel of a jacket to act as a color accent, to bring out a color maybe in the pinstripe, a color in your shirt, a color in your pocket square, pocket round, just a great little accent. And again, it's not a pin. It's actually a button that goes in the buttonhole. And then finally we have some silk scarves that were designed by my 17-year-old daughter, who's an incredibly gifted artist. We took her canvas paintings and turned them into 60 by 20 and 50 by 50 scarves. And then for the men, we created some 16-inch by 16-inch pocket squares that are beautiful to put into your jacket pocket of your blazer. Again, you've been watching the Perky Collar radio and TV show here on the Wake Up Call Network. I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you tune in again next week. And until then, we'll see you next time.